Hello.
Hi.
Let me turn on my light. How's it going?
Wonderful. It's going great. It's a sunny afternoon in Southern California, so can't complain.
Yes.
A little break from the rain, even though we need it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I read reports, and I'm also in Southern California as well. And I read reports where the rain just kind of comes down, and for whatever reason, they couldn't capture it fast enough to, for the drought seasons. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, how are you not prepared for this? It's like we
I
need the
know.
water so much, but you're not prepared for this.
Plus, it's a concrete jungle out here, so there's all sorts of like ways that it would naturally absorb, but unfortunately, there's unfortunately a lot of obstacles. Yeah, but you're right. We've known we've been in a drought for a long time.
Yeah,
California's been perpetually in a drought, so
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's pronounced Nicole, correct?
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for hopping on. We're here for the Ultimate Vegan Health and Weight Loss Bundle, co-hosted by Chef AJ and Lissa from Raw Food Romance. And what's great about this bundle is that I can, meet such awesome people that, I don't think we would cross paths otherwise, because the health and wellness space is super saturated, and it just takes chance, opportunity, perfect timing to really cross paths, right? And then at that time, it's like, okay, do our energies vibe? And it's kind of like dating, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, absolutely. Or like, not only that, but like the message, right? The what we're promoting, because there's a lot of, ways and approaches to go about health and wellness.
for sure, for
So,
sure.
this bundle specifically being oil free, focused on lower fat, whole food, plant-based.
Since we're new to each other and new to each other's audiences, let's introduce ourselves. So Nicole, tell me a little bit about yourself. Why and how, made you, get into, this type of lifestyle and movement, and why are you so passionate about it?
So that's a long journey, but I'll try and summarize it as best I can. So I've been vegan for 17 years, and I was vegetarian 3 years before that. The reason why I went vegetarian in high school was for ethics. I saw meat your meat, and there was no turning back. I couldn't unsee what I saw. And so I took the stance for animals, ethically transitioned to veganism eventually after learning more about the dairy industry. And actually, feminism brought me to veganism. And if your followers or anybody who's watching right now has questions about that, we can go into that some other time because that's a long about interconnections between veganism and other, humanitarian rights issues. Um, so I transitioned to vegan, and from there, I started learning more about the ways in which food heals you. So it was always ethical for me, but then I started to kind of drop into more about the nutrition and the health aspect. I've always been a very granola vegan, as we were talking about earlier. So I was doing, stir fries and a variety of different, like, salads. And I was always in abundance of fruits and vegetables. But I had chronic stomach issues my whole life, since I can remember. And so I wanted to learn how to heal myself, because these chronic stomach issues, which I learned later, were fueled by an overgrowth of candida in my system. And so I had gone on all of these fad diets, the anti-candidal diets to cut out starches and pretty much every fruit you can imagine, which ironically, fruit is what healed me. I focus on low fat raw veganism with a high fruit emphasis. So fruit was, because of the dietary fiber and sweeping my colon and so on and so forth, is actually what healed me, along with all the various different aspects of fruit that are so beneficial to the body. So I had kind of gone on this journey of like so frustrated. I did, you know, everything you can imagine that was natural and exhausted it, and I still had issues. So I came across a medical medium and I learned about how fat was fueling. That, intaking high amounts of fat into the diet, especially because I was already gluten free. I was already doing pretty much predominantly grain free, except for like ancient grains. And I cut out refined sugar. And so then I started learning about refined oils and even healthy fats as a vegan, that if you do it too much in abundance, it can fuel, especially those refined fats, because I was still doing, avocado oil, whatever. I wasn't doing canola. I wasn't doing like those highly processed ones, with regards to like, corn and such, or a conglomeration of vegetable oils.
Yeah.
But still,
A lot of added oils.
yes. And so, because we're sold that they're healthy, and so I learned about it, and started then transitioning into doing low fat, whole food, plant-based vegan still. And then I came across Lissa and Raw Food Romance, and I had always wanted to go raw, always wanted to, I dabbled in it, but I was doing too high fat, and my condition and my issues were still present. And I was like, this is supposed to be healthy. What's going on? I don't understand. And then I learned, after transitioning through medical medium, and then, through the means and the lens of Raw Food Romance. And this is how, and then haven't looked back. That was October 2020. And now I've been 2 years completely raw, with a high fruit emphasis. But I love my greens and my veggies and my legumes. I'm actually sprouting right now.
Okay.
Yeah, spreading some lentils and some garbanzo beans to make a raw hummus. And I just love doing like handfuls of like lentils or any type of sprouted legumes or seeds in my salads.
So
I
right now
love
you're
that.
all completely raw right now?
Yes, yes. So I've been raw since October 26th, 2020. I
Mhm.
went raw in the fall/winter, which, people are like, that's crazy. But it was already in line with the way that I ate.
Yeah.
I was cooking, steaming and roasting some of my food. And so that was really the only thing that I really needed to change up. And then also learning more about like how to develop raw cuisine that was, more than just, a basic salad, right?
Mhm.
But I'm a foodie, so I love it. I love getting in
Mhm.
there and getting really creative, but I also really eat very simply too. So
Yeah.
that's actually what my contribution to my book is about. So that's me. Try to make it as contained, Reader Digest as possible. I always say long story long. Um, but let's hear more about you, Colin. I would love to hear your journey and your transition into this lifestyle.
For sure. So thank you for sharing that. I definitely have a follow-up question. But to hi to Nicole's audience, and hi everyone that's watching. So my name is Dr. Colin Zhu. I'm a physician by trade, based in Southern California as well. We both found out that we're not that far from away from each other, so which is really cool. And I grew up in an Asian household, a Chinese household, and really, fortunate to have both my parents cook. And so having that familiarity, growing up in the kitchen, and we just ate real stuff, real food in general, but everything was balanced. Everything was, equal parts of veggies and meat and seafood, etc. And then, growing up as an American, you're always eating, like the fast food. And this is way before we became more health conscious. Fast forward to medical school. And all the different thousands of patients that I would see, you realize that no matter who walks through your door, whether it's a low back pain or cough, there's always some sort of lifestyle related risk factor attached to them, whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, or something like that. My school at the time didn't prepare me enough, so I made a lot of detours. I went to culinary school after medical school. I got certified in health coaching. And to your point, Nicole, in my health coaching school is where I actually learned the concept of bio individuality. So what that means is basically what works for you, what it is, actual, healthy for you may not work for someone else, so it was a really, poignant, concept. And then from there, I just pretty much enhanced my general practice training to really just deliver the messages of food as medicine, the pillars of lifestyle medicine. And yeah, it's really, I simplify it like this to my patients. It's really about eating more plants. You can't lose out by incorporating more plants, no matter where you are in the spectrum. And it helps them individually. And then, now we're also helping globally as well, because what you put in your mouth has a tremendous impact on, the earth that we live upon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
And
it's a lived experience, right? Like that's why I want to emphasize so much to everybody who's watching right now that this bundle has so many resources to help you heal lifelong chronic issues that you've been dealing with, because I know it from firsthand that like it's a struggle and then it stresses you out, which doesn't help. It
Mhm,
only makes the condition worse.
mhm,
And all of these resources at your fingertips is really just, I wish I had these tools. I
mm,
had to learn the hard way, in the sense of I had to do, luckily I had the determination, to want to heal my body, to want to feel good. And now, like, it's great. I can navigate through my day without having to worry about what I eat, what I put in my body. Is it going to cause a flare up? Am I going to have issues? It's like there's just so much in this bundle that really can transform and change your life for the better, for the
mm.
future. Like
Yeah.
having these tools accessible, like I said,
Did your gastric issues ever come back or get better over time?
yeah, incredibly. Like I saw a change. Obviously, it took time, to flush out my system. But I didn't have to do any kind of, there wasn't any major die off or detox
Mm,
when I transitioned to completely raw with a high fruit emphasis.
mhm,
I was able to see those results pretty quickly. And I
mm,
still take my probiotics, I still do my enzymes. But I think that's just a security blanket because I want to ensure that, like, but it can't hurt. Those things are good for your body, and the enzymes that I use help to digest the food. And it might be that in the beginning I didn't have as strong as a gut microbiome to be able to digest a lot of foods, which is absorption and all these things factor into your health. And
mhm.
I'm preaching to the choir here. You could probably explain a lot better and in your your profession about these things. But as I learned more about absorption and the gut microbiome, and my digestion was weak, and so I was helping build that up. And now with a variety of fruits and vegetables, legumes that I'm putting in my body, my system is strong,
Mhm.
so I still have those little things that I do to help to assist. But again, it doesn't hurt. But yeah, I haven't had, I used to be doubled over in pain. I would not be able to go out. I'd have to call out from work
Mm,
sick. I couldn't get out of bed. I was bedridden. Extreme pain and discomfort.
yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's discomfort. It was just like it disrupted my life.
Mm,
And so when I was able to slowly, like, remove things, and then finally the light bulb, uh, the thing that helped the most me personally was transitioning to a low fat vegan, not even like raw, just at that time. Like raw was just like to help enhance it even more.
mm,
And I just
mhm.
feel more bright and brilliant and aware and cognizant on a raw diet, and I feel really, really good in my body. But yeah, so like even just taking out like high amounts of fat, those refined oils, refined sugars, highly processed foods, um, those gastrointestinal issues no longer. And also the symptoms that also are, especially for women, with overgrowth of candida.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Won't go into details with that, but no longer any of those issues
Yeah, that's
from
awesome.
yeah. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean, it
just
could be, I
liberating,
mean, honestly, it could be, yeah, it could be so many episodes just to talk about the gut microbiome, and we're just scratching the surface, in my opinion. And, we are, actually host to 39 trillion other microorganisms in our microbiome. And it's almost like it's been told that, it operates as like a second brain. And it's almost like another form of DNA. It's almost like, DNA is kind of like our biological social security. And your microbiome is so unique. Everyone that's walking on planet Earth, is also super unique as well. And what's cool about it is that the only exposure that they have to the external environment is really what you put, in your system, what you put in your mouth. So it makes a big difference in terms of the quality of food, right? And I know that people are watching are, in different stages of the spectrum. And, we want people to, definitely just eat more plants, and incorporating it has tremendous effects. Even just doing a meatless Monday has tremendous effects, not only in terms of economical reasons, but, also environmental reasons as well. So Nicole, what did you contribute for the bundle?
Yeah, so my book, it's a little I call it my no cook e-zine. I come from like the DIY ethic punk rock community, so I don't know if folks remember zines, but that's where actually a lot of how I learned to cook more vegan food was through these zines. I'd go to a punk rock show and they'd have them for 50 cents, and I'd like look through them, and they were recipes that were tried and tested by everyday people who were vegetarian or vegan and wanted to contribute these easy, simple recipes for anybody who could make them with simple, easy ingredients. And so I took that ethic, and then I took the way that I create food in the kitchen. And I really like no fuss. I
Mm,
do like to do those fancy things, but honestly, most of the time, I eat very simplistically.
mm,
A variety of foods, but simple. So my focus was simple ingredients that you can get in your everyday grocery store. And that's why I think your program and my book are really compatible, is because I want to make it accessible. Everybody has an opportunity to access health and should have the opportunity to access health. And so that's my contribution, is to make it the transition simple and easy. You can go to your everyday grocery store. You don't have to go to a major health food store to get 90% of the ingredients. There are some specialty stuff. And I just really love, the art of making food that loves you back, that
mm,
tastes good, but it's nutrient dense, it's full of life, it's full of love, it helps you to thrive.
mm.
And that's really what I embody in my kitchen, and what I really want to give and make accessible for other people. Because really, in this day and age, and I just made a post about it, it's a radical act of um, it is a radical act in itself of wellness, to take this holistic approach. Because in a society where it's fast food restaurants and liquor stores and all these processed foods, a lot of people don't know where to turn, where to start, because they don't have the tools, they don't have the knowledge or the understanding. So I want to make it
Sure.
really easy, accessible, and not a fad, a sustainable solution. Because I went through all those fad trends. I went through all those things that were said would heal me and help me, but they only restricted me. And now I get to eat an abundance of fruits and vegetables and sprouted legumes and seeds. I am nut free, but that's what works for me. There are some, nuts that are really beneficial for people's health. But I personally I don't do any nutritional yeast. So my book has no nutritional yeast, no nuts. So it's good for people who have food allergies or sensitivities.
Yeah.
And it's really easy and accessible. Not a lot of like tools to use, just a blender. You can get a spiralizer, or if you don't have a spiralizer, you can just grate, these
Yeah,
seeds.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I really just want to make it easy, simple, and with simple ingredients, and just lots of love, with food that loves you back. So
Yeah, that's
that's what
awesome.
my book
Yeah, so on that, my contributions actually, work hand in hand with yours. I have two contributions. One is a audio course that I made, and it helps curious people that want to transition to a more whole food plant base. So I help, teach you, what to stock in your pantry, your fridge, your freezer, how to navigate a supermarket, what are some basic go-to utensils and appliances. It's only an hour long. And then my second contribution is a 21-day challenge off of my book, Thrive Medicine. And Thrive Medicine is basically half memoir, half self-empowerment, and focuses on actionable, practical tools on, shifting towards a more positive mindset. And in this day and age where, mental health not that long ago isn't as talked about, I feel like is gaining more traction in terms of, talking about it, less and less it being a stigma and taboo, and then finding resources and finding help, and I think the pandemic has definitely, caused it to kind of bubble up to the surface. And so I made a video companion to the audiobook. And so both of those items are in my app, and, the contribution will give you directions and instructions on how to access it. But if you guys are first time listening to this, it's a limited amount of time. It started from February 3rd, and I think we're third in or something like that, a quarter or a third in, and it ends on February 12th.
Only 7 more days.
Yeah. And it's huge.
All this preparation, right, that we building up to this, and it's just like it's almost over. It's almost halfway.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's a lot of people on this bundle. So you have at least more than a year's worth of material, depending on how fast of a learner you are. And it's like $6,000+ in value, and you're only getting it for $49. But it ends on February 12th. So definitely, pick it up. So, you can check out the stuff that we've contributed amongst many, many others. Nicoal, it's a pleasure to, connect with you, and, I love the stuff that you're doing. Any parting words before we wrap up?
Thank you so much. And I'm really excited. I've just started kind of looking through your contribution. Like you said, there's just so much in this, and I'm really excited for people to grab the bundle and take, advantage of this opportunity to reclaim your agency over your own health,
For sure. And the thing is that, your lived experience is an incredible amount of value because you've learned so much. So I think a lot of people will be able to resonate, especially if they're, struggling with something themselves. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much for having me, Colin. Pleasure.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time, and I will see you in the bundle. Take care, Nicoal.